Be that quiet man in the corner, all right? You got something to say that's good, beneficial, helpful, or properly corrective at the proper time, then say it. Otherwise, be wise, all right? Talking all the time about everything to everybody, that's not an indication of a wise.
I am extremely obsessed, and that's really what it takes. I wake up and go to bed and do nothing else but think about work. I love my work. I work every day. I'm constantly busy with work. I am so ambitious and I have such big goals, and the only way to get there is through extreme obsession. You have to believe that you can achieve the thing you want to achieve before you actually achieve it.
Every goal worth pursuing has so much pain between where you are and where you want to go, that you trying to say, I only want to do the thing I'm passionate about, is a weak excuse. It will not get you through it. And so a huge amount of success really comes down to just executing day in and day out and solving problems intelligently and making decisions that are harder short-term and easier long-term. Because that is where people fall off, is where it gets boring. Not even hard. It's where you do the same thing over and over and over again.
The only thing that is going to give you that feeling of personal satisfaction is when you get out of your comfort zone, do something hard, achieve something, fail, make mistakes, learn, do it again. This is how you do it. You have to earn it. You have to put yourself in a situation that is a bit uncomfortable and see yourself through it. Uncomfortable situations where maybe you're going to fail or you're going to get rejected, and invest yourself there.
Relax, breathe, be still, find your center. This world is chaotic, I know, and I'm sure there's a lot going on that you wish you could change. It's all noisy and your head may be a mess, but it is important that you do not forget your true state, who you really are. This is not you. You know that this is not you. This is a result of external forces clouding your mind and soul. And when that happens, it is easy to get lost and disoriented, and that is exhausting, I know it. However, if you take the time to just be still, to breathe and silence the noise, you will again find your center, as well as the peace and clarity that you have been missing for so long.
Best thing you can do for the rest of your life is to work on your eternal life. That's the alternate orbit that the real titans play in. And so what I'm suggesting is, the best way to spend the rest of your life is developing who you are.
Know what your problem is? Your problem is that you don't need to change. You don't need to fix your problems. You don't view the things that are destroying you as something that has to stop. Sure, you have this idea of who you want to be. You have this vision of what you want your life to look like. You like the idea of being this transformed version of yourself, but you don't have to become that. In reality, if you stay the same, life really isn't that bad. You say things like, what's another day? What's another week? Are those the words of somebody who is desperate for change? No, those are the words of somebody who has a vision, but no real intention of materializing it. The reality is, no matter how bad you say you want it, until the pain of staying where you're at is greater than the pain of changing your behavior, that vision you have for your life is always going to remain a vision.
It's nothing more practical than developing a vision. Without a vision, you're chaotic and fragmented and hopeless and disappointed, and someone can stop you just by putting up a single obstacle. You have no forward movement. Your life is a sequence of disappointments and frustrations and tragedies, and you're a leaf blowing in the wind. And that is not what you're called to be.
When you get what you want in your struggle for self and the world makes you king for a day, just go to the mirror and look at yourself and see what that man has to say. For it isn't your father or mother or wife whose judgment upon you must pass. The fellow whose verdicts counts most in your life is the one staring back from the glass. He's the fellow to please, never mind all the rest, for he's with you clear to the end, and you've passed your most difficult, dangerous test if the man in the glass is your friend. You may fool the whole world down the pathway of years and get pats on the back as you pass. But your final reward will be heartache and tears if you've cheated the man in the glass.
Here's an exercise for you. Take a piece of paper, write at the top, dream list, and then make a list of all your dreams. But what about this and what about that? No, decide what's right before you decide what's possible. Don't decide, well, we can't afford this and we couldn't do that. Like, stop. That's helplessness, that's habit. That's these old negative habit patterns holding you back. Before you even decide what you want, most people are figuring out why they can't have it. What you do is you say, wait a minute, if I had no limitations, and this is the key, you dream as though you had no limitations. Nothing's holding you back. And ask yourself this question. What one great thing would I dare to dream if I knew I could not fail? What one great thing would you dare to dream if you knew you could not fail? Imagine you were absolutely guaranteed of success in any one thing, big or small, long-term or short-term, in the whole world. What would it be? And write it down. This is the starting point of great achievement, because what will happen is that if you can clearly define that target, you can hit it. You eventually always hit the targets that you set for yourself, but you can't hit a target that you can't see.
It's become like a magnet. They pull you that direction, and the better you describe them, the more they pull. Believe you can get what you want like a child, not an adult. Adults are too skeptical. So the formula really reads, make plans like an adult and believe in them like a child.
You know, we hit about 3 or 4 or 5 crossroads in our life, and these are major crossroads. You know, you're 20, then you're 30, then you're 40, and you go, oh, they make a mistake at 30 that's going to affect 40. And so the point is, it's all about the comeback. I'm all about that. Like, okay, stop this progress, reverse it before you keep going with it. So I love stories about redemption, like the comeback. Because guys, it's all about the comeback. If I see a fighter, for example, and he's undefeated, oh, he's 44-0 with 44 knockouts, I go, boring. I mean, great athlete, but boring in the sense that I want to see the guy who's lost 10 times come back. Because that's what life is.
Every day, the same answer came back to me. Do you want to be on your deathbed knowing that you could, but you didn't? So why do you care about what people are thinking when they're not trying to go where the you're trying to go? I had to stop giving a about people. That was the biggest thing. It was you. So you better figure out who the you are on this journey. And those few people many people don't like you, so be it. But you first have to figure out you, because a lot of people die with a lot of untapped potential because they're trying to be somebody that they're not. So I was able to figure out my own potential by figuring out me. But until you know what you want to stand for, you will always just be sitting down. You'll never stand for anything.
Unchosen suffering is going to happen, right? So the only thing that you can do is have some chosen suffering to prepare for it.
If I could do one thing for people to help them be successful, I would take procrastination out of their lives. Because procrastination leads to good intentions. Well, someday, one of these days becomes none of these days. I wish when people procrastinate, they'd just be honest. I wish they would just say, I'm not waiting for tomorrow. I'm never going to do it. You have bought into a lie that someday you're going to do something that you're unwilling to do now. And I can promise you, if you're unwilling to do it today, what makes you think you'll be so good tomorrow that you'll do it? Again, like my mentor John Wooden said, when opportunity comes, it's too late to prepare. Well, why is it too late to prepare? Because you didn't prepare on the front end. Get ready.
Start before you're ready. Don't prepare, begin. Remember, the enemy is not your lack of preparation. It's not the difficulty of the project or the state of the marketplace or the emptiness in your bank account. The enemy is resistance.
You truly believe that you have the power within you to change, the first step would be saying, I have to take responsibility for myself right now, because I got to start thinking differently, I got to start acting differently, I got to start feeling different. It's going to be hard. If it was easy, everybody would be doing this. When the person sits through the fire and sits through all of that anxiety, all that hatred, all that anger, and keeps lowering the volume, sooner or later, the body's going to release it.
If you're not willing to sacrifice for your goals, then your goal will become the sacrifice. But here's the thing, it's a sacrifice either way. You're gonna either sacrifice momentary pleasure or you're gonna sacrifice your goal.
Next time you worry about someone else judging you, take a second to realize that you're actually judging yourself. Words, opinions, criticisms can only hurt you to the degree that you believe they're true. So ask yourself, why does this sting? What part of me agrees with them? And how can I support myself instead of externalizing this insecurity? When you stop giving so much weight to the opinions of others and start questioning your own instead, you'll see that it's not their judgment that's hurting you at all. It's your own self-doubt. So reframe the narrative and take your power back.
Your life and your growth has to be stored up before it shows up. So when you see somebody that's done something very well, they didn't just start practicing on that yesterday. You're never good the first time. They've been consistent. And because of their consistency, they've arrived to a level that begins to show and display growth and excellence. And that's what I want for you.
So I want to ask you, can you admit something in your life that you don't feel like you deserve or have earned? Can you admit a goal or a dream that you want to chase, but you're feeling like, nah, I can't fly that high. I'm not equipped. I don't really have the ability. I'm not qualified. Can you admit something in your life that guilt is keeping you from getting? Can you admit something that you don't want to start, continue, or finish because you're afraid to? Say it aloud to yourself. Write it down. Confess. Admit it.
You have to push yourself to a point where you have to consider, am I even meant for this? Am I even built for this? This might be too hard. And then you regroup and you recover and you gain the focus back and you gain the ambition back the very next day, and you're doing it over again.
Coming back from the doubt. I'm coming back from the hate. I'm coming back from the depression. I'm coming back from the anxiety. I'm coming back from all the racing thoughts, the challenging thoughts, the intrusive thoughts. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. It's comeback season. It's comeback season. It's a new season. It's a new day. It's a day to smile. It's a day to be in joy. It's a day to laugh. It's a day to cry in joy, in laughter, in life. It's a day to shine because it's a new season. It's a new me. This the real me coming out, showing up. That did not shut me up. I'm still chat. It's a new season.
I would have this anxiety about the future of like, why haven't I made it yet? Why are these other people doing better than me? Like, is this not gonna work? What if I'm on the wrong path? Action alleviates anxiety. The only thing I can control is that I would work, is that I would get better. Whenever you have that feeling that things should be happening faster, use action as your coping mechanism.
You hear this all the time. Don't sweat the small stuff. The 1%ers, the 0.01, they sweat every single detail.
Everybody's afraid of failure. It's embarrassing as but the journey to success comes with a lot of what? Failure. So why don't you teach yourself, like I taught myself, is how to fail properly. It's not saying be a failure. You're gonna have to learn how to get up extremely fast, because you are going to have a million setbacks on this journey. And that's how I literally taught myself how to fail first. Because I knew that if I was afraid of failure, I would have never been able to be a Navy SEAL.
That you're not in the dark taking care of you. Like, you're not becoming the giant you're gonna be one day. You're not becoming the superstar you're gonna be one day. You're so worried about what I see in the light that you're not doing what you need to do to become the person you need to become. So it doesn't bother you that you're not walking in your anointing. You're not walking in your calling. This is why you're losing, because you're so worried about what people think about you that you're not in the dark working on you. You're so worried about, and that's why you're losing.
So I just want you to remember that average is the enemy. Success is your responsibility. And change can take place in an instant if you are willing to flip the switch.
Eliminate all external distractions and just focus on the process itself and enjoying it every single day. Chopping wood, carrying water. Greatness is not meant for a few chosen people. It's meant for those who persistently pursue their dreams every day and make that choice when they wake up.
What's this life about? That ain't no sense. You're being tested, my friend.
The question is this: can you be committed to the process of what you do without being emotionally attached to the results of what you do? Meaning, if you don't get what you thought you were going to get, can you still be the same individual?
Your heroes will let you down. Your heroes will let you down. One person that you can switch and change is yourself.
This is when you got to do it, when nobody's watching. That's where you really got to push it.
No one can be a great leader who isn't willing to follow someone first. And if you want to lead people, follow them. Follow the steps in the pathway that led them to come to you. Understand that you have to learn them, because the greatest resource you have are the relationships you build.
When you set out at the beginning of this year, make it your mission to sharpen those skills. Make it your mission to become more disciplined. Make it your mission to become more mentally hardened. Make it your mission to become someone who exemplifies what discipline actually is and what it looks like and what it can build and what it can become. Because the reality is the world is starving for examples of excellence.
Once you figure out your brain, you become unstoppable to almost anything. Your brain's amazing. Once you feed it the right conversation, the right mental nutrients, the right mental supplements, the right internal dialogue at the right time, with the right hit, with the right proof of what you've done in the past, and you send it right to the right circuit, dude, you're a fucking beast.
No matter what happens to you, it ain't over. It ain't over. Ain't no such a thing as over. As long as God wakes you up, that means he ain't through with you yet.
Nothing is easy. Like running is running. It sucks, but you have a choice to make. Do you want to sit down and go back to that guy you once were? No. So this is what it takes.
Consistency doesn't guarantee that you'll be successful, but not being consistent will guarantee that you won't reach success. Instead of spending time getting in the mood to work, just start working. Confront the work. People think they need perfect conditions to start, when in reality, starting is the perfect condition.
Don't post about what you're gonna do. Don't talk about what you're gonna do. Like, keep that to yourself, and then just go do it.
I try to do something difficult every day. Something I don't want to do. If you open your mind, your ear, to the moments where you don't really feel like doing it, do it.
We don't operate well if we don't have a mission, because then you have something to shoot for. Imagine you have the most sophisticated airplane in the world, and it takes off when there's nowhere to go. And so this is why it is so important to have a mission, to have a specific goal, because then every rep that you do will get you one step closer to that goal.
You never know how good you'll be until you try. So let's get with it. As you sort of progress, I mean, this could be anything. As you do it more and more, and maybe you kind of realize, like, okay, this is something I want to put a lot of energy into. I want to put a lot of time into this. Because not only do I like the results I'm getting, but I also like the process of, making that progress.
A question. Mark Shiro says you have to ask yourself every moment, is this essential? Is this because most of what we do and say is not essential? And he says when you eliminate the inessential, you get the double benefit of doing the essential things better.
Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. You need to have a hierarchy of improvement. You need to be aiming for something, and that means you're going to be lesser than people who've already attained along that dimension. And that can give rise to envy. So the question is, who should you defeat in the final analysis? And the answer is, you should defeat your former self. You should be constantly trying to do that. And you're the right control for yourself too, because you're the one who's had all your advantages and disadvantages. And so if you want to compete fairly with someone, then you should be competing with you.
Imagine that you met God at the pearly gates and he said, you did all right. You did okay. Why don't you just come with me and I can show you what you were supposed to do? This is the life that you were supposed to live. And it was you taking the chances. It was you having the conviction to follow your courage and to go after the things that you truly wanted. It was you playing to win, not playing to not lose. And that would be pain. The true hell is when the person you are meets the person you could have been.
You have to envision something that is more powerful than you. Something has to get you out of bed.
Every day is day one. Every day you're deciding what you're going to do. And you are not trapped by what you were or who you were, because you never want to get trapped by dogma. You never want to get trapped by history. Doesn't mean you discard history or ignore it, but you can't be blindly following what you've done. And that's the heart of day one, is you're always starting fresh.
Time of year when everybody's talking about what they're going to do next year and what they're going to become and what they're going to achieve and how they're going to change and how they're going to do all these things that they have failed at doing many previous years before this year. What makes you think that next year is going to be any different? What makes you think that when January 1st rolls around, that all of a sudden you're going to change everything about yourself and become this brand new version of yourself? Haven't you told yourself this before? How many Mondays have you told yourself that you were going to start? How many years have you made the same resolutions that you failed to keep? You have to understand that if you are to make a change in your life, you have to develop discipline.
Because to be a winner, you want to be disciplined. You want to know what you're doing. And then you want to be on the edge where your skills are being developed. And if you're going to be on the edge where your skills are going to be developed, you're at a place where losing is always a possibility, because otherwise you're not pushing yourself beyond your current capacity.
I kind of feel like every day you have a certain amount of energy. And I'm not talking calories, I'm talking like mental. A certain amount of stuff which you could put out into the world. And I think the more you have to deal with everything else on this, what do you have left if you want to do something productive, you know? How much stuff are you paying mind to? How much stuff are you putting energy into thinking about? How much effort are you putting into stuff that not only is not going to contribute to anything meaningful for yourself, but also just weighs you down?
How much faster would you achieve your goals if it was just you and your goal? Not you and your goal and Netflix and video games and social media and friends you don't like and movies and shows and all these distractions that are splitting your attention in a million different directions. You can blame your lack of accomplishment on your friends, on your family, on this, on that. But the reality is, if it was just you and your goal and no other noise, no other distractions, I guarantee you would have nothing better to do than achieve your goal. So look around at your life and identify the things that take your attention away from the person you want to be and the things you want to accomplish, and remove that shit. Because if your goals are as important to you as you say they are, why would you voluntarily make it harder to achieve?
And do what you do, right? Stop worrying about what everybody else is doing. Stop looking at what everybody else is doing, and stay focused on what it is that you feel God has called you to do specifically. That's your greatness. That's where your power is. People start to rush their lives based upon highlight reels on social media. I said, the part you forget, nobody showed you the failures. Nobody showed you the shortcomings. People very rarely show you the adversity and the opposition. And so do what you do, right? Approach it how you approach it. That's what God will bless you upon. It's not you doing it in a way that somebody else does it. No, he placed greatness in you. Do it how you do it, in a way that only you can do it, so God can bless it.
Stop thinking that it could be better, that you should have said it differently, that you should have done it another way. It doesn't matter. What's done is done, and the rest is just your overthinking, making it out to be more than it is.
You can't just wait for things to get perfect. You just go out and do stuff. Your motivation. You need discipline. Because motivation's not there every day. I'm missing motivation most days.
Every time I start doing things I don't want to do, I grow.
So wherever you're finding yourself, whatever level of discomfort you're finding yourself in, look, just toughen up. Just toughen up, okay? We have a world full of weaklings, and nobody needs a weakling.
Because when you do hard things, you then are fortified and reinforced for the inevitable hardship that life is. Because all of life is hardship with brief moments of bliss, my friend. And if you have created a zone of comfort in a world of hardship, you become unstoppable. You must adopt that mindset. You will not be the victim in life.
You're going to start to create something. You have no motivation, you have no drive, you have no ambition, but you're gonna force it to happen anyway because that's what bad motherfuckers do, and that's what you are. So you're going to go through day by day by day, doing the work regardless of how you feel like it. And then what's gonna happen is you're gonna see a little bit of a result. And when you see that little bit of result, you're gonna get happy because now you can clearly see that if I do the work, this result will happen. So if you're in this phase where it doesn't feel like it's worth it, where it doesn't feel like it's very fun, just remember, if you keep going and you do not let your feelings dictate what your actions will be, the results will always be there.
The most important question to ask is, what pain do you want in your life? What are you willing to struggle for? Anything worthwhile is going to require some degree of pain and struggle. So, if you're oriented toward the pain and the struggle, you're probably going to be more aligned with what you're capable of accomplishing rather than if you just orient toward the pleasures.
Every day, sunrise, sun goes down. So that means there is a up, there is a down. Since we are born, we have inhaled 50% of our times, we have exhaled 50% of our times, meaning always 50-50. Always the exchange between left and right, up and down, bright and dark, in and out, success and failure.
I want you to realize this truth. Perspective is everything in life. And the beautiful thing about perspective is in your control. Nobody else can control your perspective. But when your perspective is your power, you know that things that happen to you, what happens for you? You know the things that are supposed to break you, actually things are gonna build you. You know the failures that happen in your life, actually the failure is just feedback to grow something better in your life.
You think that everything the mind tells you, I need to follow. That means freedom. No, for us, it's the other way around. To learn and not follow what the mind tells you. This is the first step towards freedom.
Your brain is the most powerful weapon in the world. You got to tell your brain where you want to go and how you want to go and how you want to get there. You got to control it. If not, it's over.
You can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are.
That's the challenge.
Maybe the journey isn't so much about becoming anything. Maybe it's about unbecoming all the things that's not us so we can become the people that we're really destined to become.
There's no way you lose when you go after a dream.
You don't. It always leads to something better. Always. The responsible thing to do is to listen to your heart. It wasn't hard to work at the shitty job because I was always thinking about the exciting job I was going to do afterwards. And every night that I just went up on stage, and if it just went moderately okay, I couldn't believe it. Have you ever had that level of excitement doing any other job? That's what it's like when you go after a dream job. So nothing is worse than not going after it.
And so many of us, we're afraid of the silence. We're afraid to be alone. We're afraid because we know the voice in our head when we're alone is one that doesn't lift us up but brings us down. And it might seem dark, and it will be cold, and you'll be lonely. But I promise, as you work through that cold and dark place, you will find who you are. You will find your voice. You'll understand who you are when there's no support around you, because I hate to break it to you, that's going to happen on this path to growth and this path to success.
Time is the currency we're playing with in every moment of our lives. It's the center point of our influence. I talk about the roulette table of my life. It's the frame I think through, where we wake up in the morning with these 24 chips. If you spend 8 hours sleeping, you wake up with 16 chips left. And how you place those chips on this roulette table that sits in front of us, just before the wheel spins every day, determines all of our outcomes in our lives.
There are many things in this world that we all wish weren't true. There are many things that we want to be that just aren't. The game that you're playing is human psychology. There is no greater control. There is no greater control than control over oneself. Every day that you're working to build something, whether it's a business, whether you're trying to be the greatest parent of all time, it doesn't matter. If you fail to understand that the name of the game is changing yourself, acquiring skills, identifying the gap between who you are today and the person you want to become, and accepting that you can do anything you set your mind to without limitation. So now how you spend that time, what skills you begin to acquire in order to execute against that future vision you have of yourself, that is everything. But you're going to have to be willing to suffer along the way.
Right? Believe in what you're doing. Sometimes all you got to do is stay the course and outlast whatever the opposition and the adversity may be. Right? When it comes to whatever you consider to be success, whatever success means to you, properly define it, but always look at it in terms of, do I love what I do? Do I know what I'm doing? If opposition and adversity happens, will I still believe in what I'm doing? Love what you're doing, know what you're doing, but above all, believe in what you're doing, man.
I want you to imagine that there's a power flowing into your consciousness. This power flows to and through us, and it never stops. Now, when the power flows into our consciousness, we could call it thought power if you choose. You can think anything you want. You can think anything you want. No one can cause you to think something you don't want to think. What we want to do is learn how to control the flow of this energy. We want to learn how to control the flow of thought energy and let it flow freely to and through us, improving everything with which it connects. You see, we're really in charge of our results. The results that we get in our life can be altered because on a conscious level, you have a choice. You see those two symbols, one's negative, one's positive. There is the power flowing in. You can think anything you want. You can choose to think of what you don't want, or you can choose to think of what you do want. You can look at what's wrong with life, or you can look at what's right with it. You do have a choice. That power, you can build it in anything you choose.
There's going to be so many hours where you will be alone. You'll feel like there's no one there to support you. And it may not be because you've been abandoned, but because those people have to tend to their own lives. Learning to be self-reliant, learning to stand in front of the fire, to face the crowd head on by yourself is what will rally the troops. That's what brings the reinforcement. So often we say, I'll go if you go. I'll stay if you stay. Be the one that goes. Be the one that steps forward into the fire, unafraid, knowing that it's not because you're going to get burned, but it's because it's going to burn off the old you. Burn off that old you and let the new you shine. You'll find that you're fireproof. you'll find that you're unstoppable. You want to know how strong you are? Let's go test it.
You say you love life, you want to live life. I'm going to show you life. Life is beautiful, but you have to accept the good and the bad as being beautiful. You can't accept the good, oh, this is beautiful, then we lose somehow, our life sucks. Life is beautiful, life gives us the ability to just know them on our journey in life. We met them, we loved them, we cared about them, they cared about us. That's the purpose of life, just to enjoy what we had, what we journeyed through it.
Apparently, the stress and the worries and the fear, it arises somewhere. And that somewhere is individually always inside oneself. But nevertheless, we try to fix this issue. We try to look for the solution. Yeah, not inside of you, you try to find it out there.
Sometimes people are too close to you to see your greatness. You're too familiar. So what a lot of us do, we go to our spouse, we go to our friends, we go to all these people that are close to us, and we try to show our gifts and our talents, and they normalize your greatness. I believe this is true. I believe God will place strangers in your life to take you to higher places. So don't be surprised if your support system doesn't come from familiar faces. Don't be surprised if your support system doesn't come from blood, doesn't come from family, doesn't come from the friends you have history with. But they're too close to you, they're too familiar with you. Anything we get familiar with, we get desensitized to. So the mistake that a lot of us make is we go to what's closest to us in proximity when you need to just give it to the world. We need to just give it to the world and let the world validate your vision.
When it's time, you'll know. Trust me, when that moment comes, the feeling is unmistakable. So no matter how dark things might get, never forget that you are the light. You can pull yourself out of any situation, but it's gonna take effort. It's gonna take putting in the work when no one's watching or even cheering you on. Stop looking outside yourself to conquer that voice within. You have what it takes. Now go make it happen.
Telling you, the moment you truly decide to commit to self-mastery, to becoming your 2.0 self, to really elevating to the highest version of yourself, you will lose 99% of your friends. And the reason for that is you will scare them because they will not understand why you're so committed to self-development, self-actualization, becoming a better human. You won't have things in common anymore, right? Because if you are trying to transcend to self-mastery, to develop as a better human, and so in your process, in your journey of self-development, you will lose 99% of your friends.
Pretty soon you win. Pretty soon you'll fucking win. If you have the courage and the heart and the dedication and the mindset about everybody can go fuck themselves.
Most important question to ask yourself is, what pain are you willing to endure in your life, rather than what pleasure do you want? So whatever pursuit it is that you're going through, whatever challenges are placed in front of you, realize that there is value in stepping outside of their comfort, that on the other side of discomfort is something valuable. We're told that worthwhile things are difficult to attain, because if they weren't difficult to attain, they wouldn't be worthwhile.
And really ask yourself that question. What is it essentially that you are looking for living this life? How much of where you want to go did you achieve already? And also, are you actually still finding yourself on the way to wherever you wanted to go? If you're not being defined by a vision of the future, then you are left with the memories of your past and you'll be predictable in your life. If you're not creating anything new, that means you're believing in your past more than you're believing in your future. So then if the person is living in anger, impatience, resentment, frustration,
and they're holding the intention of their future. They're waiting for their success to feel abundance or empowerment. They're waiting for their new relationship to feel love. Well, that's the old model of reality of cause and effect, waiting for something outside to change how we feel inside. And if you're living in that lack and you know that you're creating your future, you're creating more lack. And if you're reacting to the people and conditions in your life that are all known to you, then your thoughts and feelings are equal to everything that you know. You keep creating the same life.
One entire year has just passed. Look at yourself in the beginning of this year compared to right now. Are you any different? Are you the same guy that you were in the beginning of the year? Try to make sure that this year you at least change something up, right? If years and years pass and you're just the same dude, then you're not really living in a way. I kind of feel like you're just being pushed through life.
Intentionally act like the person you want to become. Because when you intentionally act like the person you want to become, your brain sees you taking those actions, so your brain starts to change the way it relates to you.
You know, that first, step, when you really decide, all right, I got to start changing things, it is very uncomfortable because you're going to start doing things that aren't the norm in your life. You're going to have to let go of old ways, let go of old habits, and start stepping in and implementing new ones. And that is a very uncomfortable process because you're stepping into the unknown. You're stepping into something that your body is not familiar with. But at the end of the day, it's so rewarding in the long run. And if you can just stick it out through that first step where it gets really uncomfortable, on the flip side of that is everything that you want in life. It's the relationship, it's the job, it's the situation, it's the environment, it's the community.
Don't resent tough times. When life hands you adversity, it's not to expose how weak and vulnerable you are. It's to push you to become more resourceful and show you that you're capable of making it through what once felt impossible. Your battles are intended to build your character, not destroy your spirit. There is growth in your struggle, so just keep pushing.
With our thoughts, we create the world. That means there is something powerful about you. If you are disciplined, if you do the proper things, if you stay determined, stop the laziness, chances are very high that many of the goals that you're setting to yourself will become true.
What are you willing to sacrifice, and what are you willing to give up to find every bit of who you are as a human being? There's no hacks, bro. It's you against you. You against you. And if you misunderstand that, you have a real problem. So the things that are important to you in life, you must do always, or you're nobody.
It's impossible to increase your mental toughness if you're afraid of failure. It's impossible to increase mental toughness if you don't get outside of your comfort zone. It's impossible to increase mental toughness if you don't do hard things. It's impossible to increase mental toughness if you don't throw yourself into the fire just to find out who you are on the other side of it. To throw yourself into the deep waters just to find out who you are on the other side.
Being fearless means putting yourself out there and going for it. No matter what, go for it. Not for anybody else, but for yourself.
Your presence on this planet is no accident, and you are absolutely here for a purpose. You've been given a gift. It's your genius, and it's intended to bring joy to your life and to lift the lives of those around you.
I want you to understand this. If you want to bring out the best in others, start with the mirror. So many people are trying to persuade others, trying to influence others, trying to bring out the best in others, but they're not starting with themselves. It all starts with you. It starts there because when you bring out the best in you, you are very contagious.
If a person would sit down
and let their body relax, totally relax, and then start to visualize in their mind, see themselves the way they want to see themselves. See how you'd like to live your life. See yourself living it that way. Okay. Now understand that that's a picture in your mind. When you pick up a book, the book is nothing but a picture that an author has painted in words. Dream my painting, and then I paint my dream. We become what we think about. Now, it may be fantasy at first, it might even appear to us as being a lie. But if you read it often enough, you'll start to believe it.
Listen to me, man. You have a great life in front of you, but your great life is in front of you. It's not behind you.
You embrace the challenge. It's a test. It's a way to prove yourself. It's a way to toughen yourself up. We can compare the attitude to the aperture of a lens. When you are fearful, that aperture tends to close down, giving you a narrow perspective on the world. If you take in less, you have less to fear. But as your mind closes down, you see opportunities in coming up with new ideas. But if that lens opens up and expands, suddenly you can see all kinds of combinations and connections out there in the world that nobody else is seeing because of their fearful closed lens, the way they're looking at the world. In this case, the chaos of the world is not something to fear, but something to exploit. This is the source of all creative thinking.
That's why you gotta work on yourself. Because life will send you some curves you cannot anticipate. Whatever you do, you wanna develop technical mastery. You wanna be the best at what you do. You wanna master it. See, part of self-motivation is you've got to find something that gives you a strong sense of competence. Well, you become known for that. You develop a reputation of being good at doing that. You set some high personal standards for yourself. You're not competing with anybody else. You're just unfolding yourself to be the best person that you could be.
I've looked in the mirror every morning and asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I am about to do today? And whenever the answer has been no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. Because almost everything, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. There is no reason not to follow your heart.
This is the instinct that says, you've had enough. This is the instinct that says, you've given it your best shot. You can stand down. You can back off. You can take a knee. This is the instinct that says, you can rest now. Do not listen to that instinct. Do not listen. That instinct is a liar and wants to bring you down. That's the instinct that's a defense mechanism. Wants to give you an out, place to run into. Little place of sympathy.